I want to start with a poem that's older, and it was written for my mother, and her birthday was November 1st, and she would have been 94. She died when she was 44. And this is her voice. The mic is doing something interesting. Should I ignore it? I'm good at ignoring, among other things. Out of body. The words, they fade. I sift toward other languages. You must listen with your hands, with the twist ends of your hair. That leaf, pick up the sharp green stem. Try to feel me, feel you. I am saying I still love you. I am trying to say from my mouth, but oh baby, there is no mouth. My family is a very short-lived family, and I often wonder why I lived in what in my family is a very long time. I think it's stubbornness, you know? How dare they say we're short-lived in my family? Anyway, this is from a new book, and the book is called Voices. And I often wonder, I've always wondered, some of the questions that people don't know how to answer. I'm very interested in names, naming. You know, I never know, why is this a podium? Why is this not a microphone? Why is this not a podium? You know, don't you wonder that sort of thing? Probably not. My kids always say, you wonder things nobody cares about, Mom. And that's probably true. But I think about naming, and I think about Mataoka, who was called Pocahontas. And Mataoka was not her name, it was one of her nicknames. But we call her Pocahontas, and we think she should be happy with that. My students at St. Mary's College at one point went to the Smithsonian and saw the portrait of she called Pocahontas. And they told me it wasn't a true portrait of her because they had seen the movie. Now, that is animation, you know. So somebody drew a pretty little white girl, decided that she was Pocahontas. And that the romance between them, she was something like 14 and he had to be 115, was a true romance. And I question everything, and that's one of the things. Mataoka, this is her voice. In the dream was white men walking up from the river. In the dream was our land stolen away, and our homes and our names. In the dream was my father fighting to save us. In the dream, the pipe was broken, and I was leaning my body across the whimpering man. If our father loves revenge more than he loves his children, said the dream, we need to know it now. That always makes me think of President Bush. Aunt Jemima. White folks say I remind them of home. I, who have been homeless all my life, except for their kitchen cabinets. I, who have made the best of everything, pancakes, batter for chicken, my life. The shelf on which I sit between the flour and cornmeal is thick with dreams. Oh, how I long for my own syrup, rich as blood, my true nephews, my nieces, my kitchen, my family, my home. I've asked people on the, the cream of wheat guy? You've seen those. You've seen him. He has a nice cap on. It's really cool. But I don't know his name. What is his name, And somebody told me, and I had read his name was Rastus. I don't believe a woman named her son Rastus. But that's how I am. And this is he speaking. Sometimes at night we stroll the market aisles, Ben and Jemima and me. They walk in front, remembering this and that. I lag behind, trying to remove my chef's cap, wondering about whatever pictured me and left me personless. Rastus. I read in an old paper I was called Rastus, but no mother ever gave that to her son. Toward dawn, we returned to our shelves, our boxes, Ben and Jemima and me. We pose and smile. I simmer. What is my name? I have a friend whose name is Kathy. She's here somewhere. And in St. Mary's County, which is a very rural kind of place, I think it was last year or year before, I'm not sure, there was deer season was extended because the herds are getting thick. And so people were able to hunt deer. But a lot of people in the county were being sure that nobody killed the white deer. This is something like, well, that's a rarity, But I started thinking about that, and this is how a poem turns. I wrote a poem, which I don't remember at all, and it was about the majesty of the albino deer and all that good stuff. And I started thinking about, why is it that I'm praising this white deer? How accustomed am I to that? Quite accustomed, actually. And I thought about what that was about, whiteness. Because most of the people I know are some shade of pink, sort of pink down to and down. Somebody said to me about my pinkies, and I was completely at sea. I had no idea where they were. Anyway, then I wrote something I thought I'd write about the two races, and I thought about Kathy and I. People don't realize that we are just about best friends. I think I can say that. And I'm godmother to her children, and we're family. And I thought that's what he was looking at, Anyway, albino for Kathy. We sat in the stalled car, watching him watch us. His great pink antlers branched, his pink eyes fixed on the joy of the black woman and the white one laughing together, and he smiled at the sometimes wonderfulness of the other. I have a poem about my husband died about 25 years ago or so. What to say about this one? My husband's last words to me were, "You have been my tried and trusted friend." Isn't that nice? We also fussed a lot as he was dying because he hadn't been that faithful and I had. And I lorded over him quite a lot about that. He told the kids once, "Your mother will forgive, but she won't forget." And I thought that was a good way to be, actually. Anyway, this is a quote. "You have been my tried and trusted friend," said the coal miner's son to the chipper's daughter, then turned his head and died, and she and their children rose and walked behind the coffin to the freeway. After a while, she started looking at other women's husbands, other women's sons. But she had been tried and trusted once, and though once is never enough, she knew that two may be too many. But she can be persuaded. Let's see.